Hi, my name is Beth, and you're listening to the Canna Fitness and Nutrition Podcast, where we are hanging out at the intersection of fitness, nutrition, and cannabis. Thank you so much for pressing play today. I'm super excited that you're here and want to learn more about cannabis and how it works with your fitness and health. If you're new here, thanks for checking us out. I'm a personal trainer turned into a cannabis coach, and I combined it all to make a wellness company called CannaFit. And if you're not new here, well then thanks for coming back and listening to what we have to say. I'm not super solid on the title today. I'm going to feel that out as we go along because essentially we're going to talk about 4 ways to transform your Mondays into feeling your best, having the most energized and most energy, feeling productive and feeling really good going into the week, and how to get rid of those Monday blahs. Like so often, this is where I'm coming from. So often we get up on Monday and you just want to turn your alarm off. You want to roll back over in bed and you wish that it was still weekend, right? You're like, one more day of weekend, please, one more day. Mondays are rough, And so there's ways that we can prevent that. Honestly, I don't feel like that on Mondays unless it's raining. Then everybody feels like that and I can't control the weather. But I don't miss feeling like that. I used to feel like that, where Monday mornings, it was like, I don't want to go to work. I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to work out. And I enjoy all those things. But there's a few things we can do to transform how our body feels, really, at the end of the day. There's a few things we can do and how cannabis can help. So we're going to talk about that today. Quick side note before I forget, though. I'm doing a crossover with the Cannabis Connoisseur podcast, and we're working on a women's series right now. So Cannabis Connoisseur is a podcast that I highly recommend. They've been doing this for about 5 years, and they talk all about cannabis and wellness, cannabis for wellness. As you know, I'm a personal trainer, and so my perspective is very fitness and nutrition related, and they talk about really the whole picture of wellness and cannabis. So it's fantastic podcast, and together we're talking about menopause, we're talking about endometriosis, and we're going to talk about pregnancy and breastfeeding and cannabis and how all of those things work and how cannabis can support women's health specifically. So check out their podcast for those episodes. If you're listening to this in real time and it's May 2025, then it should be out this month. If just follow me and I will post about it. If not, then you can message me and I can point you in the right direction to those episodes. Anyway, back to this one where we're talking about 4 big things you can do and how we use cannabis to help you feel fantastic on Mondays. Let's call it that. That's a good title. So, number 1, hydration. Hydrate, right? You've probably heard this before, and I can't say it enough. Hydration is everything. Possibly the number 1 reason you feel crappy on Mondays is dehydration. Dehydration reduces the productivity of your body, like how well your body functions, which, limits your productivity as a human, makes you feel really crappy. And it's honestly super common because if you think about it, during the work week, a traditional work week, Monday through Friday, we are in a routine, right? You're probably drinking water or whatever you drink, during the day. You probably are going through your work day. There's probably some regular intervals that you're drinking water, right? Hopefully, a lot of us, I know, we sit with our big cups, or a big dumb cup, as they call it on Saturday Night Live, big cups here at our desks, and we're sipping on it, right? So we're getting some water in. It may not be enough, but it's something. And then the weekend comes, and we're totally out of our routine. We're not sitting at a desk with a water bottle next to us. So it's completely out of sight, out of mind. And you probably relate to this, but I, will often find myself on the weekends having run around to do a million different things. And you're here, you're there, you're everywhere. You're doing things that are not typical because you're at sporting events or at parties or shopping or errands, and you're just not drinking water. And that leads to dehydration. Now, if you stop drinking water on Saturday and then you went all day Saturday and all day Sunday and you barely drank anything, well then by Monday morning, you're going to feel pretty crappy. Like that's just how it is because dehydration affects your body that much. So that could be the number one reason why you feel crappy on Mondays. So what do we do about it? You drink your water. Drink your water. Drink it all day, every day. The best recommendation is to sip about 6 to 8 ounces every hour or so. Okay, well now nobody's going to time themselves and do that. I mean, you can, but I doubt that most people are timing themselves with their water. So, keep a water bottle around on the weekends. If you're not at your desk, then have a separate water bottle and keep that around to keep it top of mind. I do love those water bottles that have the markers on it. Have you seen those where it's got lines on it that says 8 a.m., 10 a.m., 12 p.m., and it kind of like counts you down. Those are kind of cool. One of my coworkers once had a water bottle that actually had like a little timer on it that beeped. That was cool. Anything you can do to increase your water intake. I'll admit, I don't love plain water. It's just not tasty. Maybe I'm just tired of it after 47 years. Who knows? But I like those water enhancers, they call, where they're little powders or little liquids that generally have electrolytes that you just squeeze a little bit or put some powder in the water, mix it up, gives it some flavor, gives it some electrolytes, which are great because it helps you stay hydrated. There's a million of those. I use one I like. It's called Go Hydrate. And I have tried a bunch of them. I like this one because of the taste. I like it because, whatever sweeteners they're using doesn't bother my stomach. You can definitely look for, the most organic ones. Those are out there, but I would just pick by taste. They're so minute that it's not going to make a huge difference in your body, but it can really help make the water taste better. Seltzer is incredibly popular these days. I'm a huge seltzer fan. I drink a lot of seltzer. That's great too. If carbonation bothers your stomach, then maybe don't drink seltzer, but it can be just another way to get water in. Remember that your teas, your coffees, your iced coffees, all those things are liquid, yeah, but because of the caffeine, it actually ends up being dehydrating. So for every cup of coffee you have, or iced coffee or espresso or whatever, you have to have a glass of water. You actually should have 2 glasses of water. So it's 1 to 2, 2 to 1. So 2 glasses of water for every cup of coffee. And that could be why you're feeling dehydrated and crappy on Mondays too. Maybe maybe you're like me where I love to sit around on a weekend if I have time and just drink coffee. That's great. But it just makes you so dehydrated, right? So you've got to make sure you drink water with it. Drinking alcohol. If you drink alcohol, you've got to drink water with your alcohol. I mean, I don't need to tell you how bad the dehydration from alcohol feels because you've probably experienced it. So again, every drink, you have to have water with it too. So get it in, even if it's just later and you pound it, that's fine. It's not the best, but it's better than nothing. Get it in and try to get it in Saturday, Sunday, so that when you wake up Monday, you don't wake up with that headache from dehydration and you don't wake up feeling crappy. Okay. That's probably the number one recommendation I could make is just hydrate yourself over the weekend. Number 2, nourish your body. Nourish your body, meaning eat healthy food. Just because it's the weekend doesn't mean you can eat pizza for lunch, Chinese for dinner, and then grab McDonald's on the way home from your party. That's not going to make you feel good. You need to get fruits and vegetables and protein in your body. I know weekends can be more, fun and more flexible. And a lot of people have that mentality of, I was so strict during the week, so on the weekend, I'm going to let myself eat whatever I want, which is okay. But try to have some vegetables in there. Try to have some fruit in there. Try to get some protein in so you're not just eating, pizza and pretzels, because that's it's going to dehydrate your body more. And 2, it's just not going to feel good because your body's missing the nutrients from fruits, vegetables, and protein. And when I say nutrients, a lot of times I'm talking about vitamins and minerals. Yes, vitamins and minerals. Those things that are in your fruits and vegetables are key. They make you feel energized. That's what it does. You're also going to need protein to make you feel energized. And the fiber from fruits and vegetables is going to keep you feeling regular. It's going to help things move through your body so that you feel good and you don't feel all stopped up and black on Mondays. So nourish your body with real food. Yeah, everybody loves to go out for pizza. Like we all do that, right? But it doesn't have to be your entire weekend. One of my clients, I was talking to a client this week, and she did exactly what I do, which I thought was fun. And we never even talked about it. But she said she went out with some friends after a show, and they went to a tavern, and she just really wanted to get pizza. Like she was just craving this particular place's good pizza. So she got a small pizza, and what she did was she also got a salad, and then she had her salad and a piece of pizza, and she took the rest home. I do that all the time, I'll tell you. I mean, who doesn't love pizza, right? But I don't love the way it makes me feel when that's all I eat, right? You feel just sort of like just overloaded because it's so heavy, it's so much carbs. Honestly, a piece of pizza is a serving, like one serving. The thing about carbs, not to get on a tangent, but the thing about carbs that we get wrong is that it's not that they're bad. There's something wrong with carbs. We need the energy. We definitely need the energy from carbs. It's that we eat too much. We've normalized eating a whole small pizza ourselves. Like you go to those restaurants and they give you like a whole pizza. Like when did that become a whole serving? That's not a serving. 6 pieces of pizza is not a serving. That's 6 servings. One piece of pizza is a serving. So just stick with the piece, right? You can eat more later. You can eat more later when you're hungry again, because you only had a piece and a salad. So you'll be hungry for the next meal and you can have another piece then. There's no rush. Don't rush it. Savor it. Enjoy it. But back to my point, nourish your body. Eat fruits and vegetables. Go easy on the carbs. Just have a serving at a time and get your protein in so that your body feels more regulated, more nourished, and that'll go a long way into giving you energy. Number 3 is get moving. Move your body. Don't use the weekend as an excuse to sit on the couch. I know you probably don't because everyone's so busy, but try to get some intentional movement in when possible on the weekend. So Saturday, Sunday, make a little bit of time. I used to spend Sundays just completely on the couch, not doing anything. I was like, I need to rest, I need to recover. But you know what that did is it made me feel worse. Because then I never wanted to get off the couch. And then it was a struggle to force myself to get up Monday and do anything. So what I started to do was take a day off during the week, take a day of working out off, meaning, maybe on Thursday, let myself sleep in. I'm tired at that point. I've got a busy day, so I'm active, but I don't necessarily need to or try to squeeze a workout in. When I have plenty of time on a Sunday, I've got a whole hour on a Sunday. I can do a nice, easy, slow, take my time workout instead of trying to rush through a Thursday workout in the half an hour that I maybe have. I'm taking a full hour on Sundays to do more for myself. I take a long walk, I do a little core work, do a little stretch, and then I've still got the whole day ahead of me. So if you are the same and you find that you have more time on the weekend, then use that time and get that movement in. You'll feel so much better. And then you can sit on the couch or read your book, watch a movie, whatever it is that you want to do. But beyond moving over the weekend, move on Monday. Force yourself, get up, get moving. Even if you just crawl onto the ground and start stretching your body, you're going to feel so much better. Blood flow, which is just blood flowing through your body, is easy to create because all you have to do is move your body around a little bit and you will feel so good. It really stimulates your entire body when you move your blood around, and it gets into your brain, moves your blood through your brain, which makes you more alert, makes you more awake. It's going to just make you feel better. So move your body. Number 4 here, and now we're going to go on a few things with cannabis. So with using cannabis, and there's a few ways that I suggest you use cannabis to make your Mondays that much better, right? Make your whole week that much better. One, let's start from the beginning. One is making sure that you're sleeping good, right? Because good sleep is critical. If you're not sleeping well, you're not going to feel like working out. You're not going to feel like getting up on Monday. You're going to feel pretty trashed, basically. So making sure that you're sleeping well. And if you're not sleeping well, THC is great for helping you fall asleep. It's wonderful. It is sleep promoting. It is sedating. You don't need very much typically. A little bit of THC will help you fall asleep fast. CBD or CBN will help you stay asleep. So I recommend, you've probably heard me say this before, but I recommend a combination. I like a good combination of THC and CBD, which you can create yourself. If you like to inhale, you can combine a little bit of THC flower with some CBD flower or CBN flower and inhale it. Or you can look for a product like a tincture where you put a drop under your tongue that has a combination of CBD, CBN, or THC. There's gummies. And what's cool is the newer products, the gummies and the tinctures particularly, are targeted. It'll say right on the packaging, for sleep, or it'll call it like dream time or something like that. And if you look at the package, it'll say, it'll have THC, CBD, or a lot of them now have CBN. CBN, I always say the N is for nighttime. CBN is going to help you stay asleep. So looking for a product that's going to help you sleep well is key, right? Beyond that, I would say number 2 is using cannabis to help you stay calm and focused during the weekend, right? A combination of CBD is optimal for being calm and focused. You want the CBD kind of levels out your mood, it keeps you chill. The THC will start to get you high the more you take it. But if you can use it diligently or meticulously, intentionally, there's the word. If you use it intentionally, you can get yourself to a place where you feel chill, but also focused so that you can get things done. Because there's nothing worse than feeling unproductive and unmotivated, where you're too stoned to want to do anything, right? Especially if you love indicas and you love being into couch, then before you get to that point, make a mental note of when you start to feel the calm come on and the focus come on. And then stop what you're doing and embrace that calm and focus. I have been using it lately to get into, before you get so stoned that you want to just lay on the couch, getting into the zone where you feel super zoned in, because that's what cannabis does, and that's one of the reasons we all love it, right? To be productive. I have a client who loves to use it and then clean the house. I have a client who loves to, use it and then do her artwork. So it's such a great tool for focusing and zoning in. But why not use that focus and zone in to get organized for the week, right? Specifically, what I'm usually working with clients on is getting your meals planned. Go shopping or shop online and go pick it up or have it delivered. You do your grocery shopping. Make sure you have healthy food in the house and ready to go for the week. Take the time to do that. And if it feels like a painful chore, well then have a couple puffs first. Chill yourself out, get focused, get in the zone. Tell yourself, this is what I've been doing. I tell myself that I get a little bit calm and focused, right, with my THC. And then I tell myself that it only takes about 20 minutes to get organized enough for the week so that I don't get stressed out on Mondays. 20 minutes is all it's been taking for me. So I have a little puff, I get into a good place, and then I get up and whatever that means. I either make my lunch ahead of time for Monday, or I might even make my dinner. If I have to work through dinner time, I typically make my dinner ahead of time and just put it in the fridge and then heat it up. So if that's something you could do, anything, cut up your chicken or marinate some meat or throw some things on the grill, cut up some veggies, cut up some fruit, whatever that means for you, get some groceries delivered so that you've got some frozen food in the freezer to grab from, or get online and order a subscription service. Whatever that means for you, then take those 20 minutes to do that on the weekend so that Mondays you don't wake up and have to just struggle through the whole day because there's nothing to eat, because you spent the whole weekend on the couch watching movies and being completely stoned, right? I mean, we all love to have fun with cannabis and to relax and get into that good chill vibe, whatever that means for you. But before you go too far down that road, take a minute, use the focus, and be productive. Use that. It actually is so much easier once you use, especially THC. Once you use THC and get that focus zone going, it's so much easier to get a couple things done, like meal prep. So often I hear clients, will say the week starts out rough. Monday morning, they didn't do any prep over the weekend. They spent the whole weekend doing something else. And then Monday morning, they're running through Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts and they're grabbing breakfast. And then lunchtime comes and they're starving, but they have no food because they didn't do anything about it over the weekend. So now they're getting takeout food. And then, of course, they didn't plan dinner either. And there's no food in the house. So either they're trying to squeeze in grocery shopping at some point on a busy Monday, or again, starting off the week with takeout. So again, take those 20 minutes, use your cannabis, your CBD, your THC, a combination, or, a lower level of THC so that you're not completely baked, but you're able to focus and get something productive done. Because I promise you, it's way better and more fun to do chores with a little bit of THC in your system than it is to do it without. Sorry, that just made me laugh for some reason. And then the last piece that I want to talk about is just CBG. If you're new to CBG, I highly suggest you give it a try. CBG, it's non-intoxicating, so you won't feel high. But it's such a cool cannabinoid in that it's very calming, but it's very energizing. Like, I feel like when I've been using it a lot lately because I'm on a tolerance break. So I've been using a lot of CBG, and I love that it feels like almost like I had caffeine, but not without the caffeine feeling, without the jittery, without that rush. It's just very, very subtle, but I feel good. I feel energized. I feel clear. I feel focused. And I feel like I could actually get some things done. Like, if you told me I had to, prep my meals for the week, and I would roll my eyes, but I would take some CBG and a little bit of THC together and just get in the zone and just bang it out and just bang it out. Like, most people, I'll be honest, most of us don't love spending any extra time in the kitchen than we have to, right? But in order to maintain our weight and make healthy choices consistently, we've got to spend those, just 20 minutes spending time on it. And chances are it's a lot like exercise, right? Which, again, sometimes we don't want to exercise either. But if you can just get started, it starts to go faster because it's not as bad as we made it out to be in our heads, right? So, okay, let me recap before this gets too long. The ways to make sure that you have a fantastic Monday where you feel good, you get up and you are the Energizer Bunny, and you make yourself have a stellar week with the healthiest choices possible. You're going to hydrate over the weekend. You're going to nourish your body over the weekend with actual food and not just pizza. You're going to get moving, right? You're going to get moving during the weekend, but also on Monday. You're going to get up and you're going to move. And you're going to use cannabis for sleep, to make sure you're sleeping well, to make sure that you're calm and focused. And you're going to consider the cannabinoids that make you feel the most energized, calm, and focused, whether that's CBD, THC, CBG, or any combination. The thing about cannabis, just as one side note, with all these different cannabinoids and possible combinations, you have to be willing to experiment. You have to be willing to experiment with them to see how you feel, because that's what we're all doing. We're all just experimenting every day. And you start to learn. You start to learn that, okay, 4 puffs on this makes me feel like this. And 3 drops of this tincture under my tongue makes me feel like this. And you start to learn how you feel. It's not different than when we all learned how to drink alcohol, right? And most of us learned the hard way back when we were young, probably before you were 21, but I'm not telling anyone. And you tried alcohol and you probably had to learn how different things made you feel. You had to learn how wine makes you feel. You had to learn how spirits make you feel. You had to learn how beer makes you feel. You had to learn how many beers you could have before you threw up, like all those things, right? Cannabis isn't going to make you throw up, and it has 0 negative side effects. So the worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to be asleep. Unlike alcohol, where you could be pretty severely sick and have alcohol poisoning if you mess that up. So it's very safe to experiment with. Which I want to make sure that everyone feels really comfortable with that. And if you're concerned about it, then that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you. So if you have any questions about any of this, or you like personal information, personal guidance, send me an email. I am Beth at cannafitnessnutrition.com, and I hang out mostly on Instagram. It's Beth_CannaFitnessNutrition. So if you have any questions about anything or have anything you'd like me to address on the podcast, I'd love to hear from you, and I will see you next time.